told you I could make it happen,
The
mate.
power of Inside 50.
I told you.
Who would have known?
You know, we've been having trouble getting it into one episode every week. We have to do the little split ones because Andy talks so much, right?
This guy doesn't shut
I
up.
wrote a letter to the AFL. I said, give us one chance. Can
Big
we
Andy D.
To Andrew D, yep, right to the straight on the desk. It comes from Inside 50. He
Yep.
gets the gold letter opener out, he carves it up, and he bloody reads it straight away. And I said, can we do half and half? Can we split the round just so we get enough time to banter? You know, talk
What
about
did you say?
everything. It's all the proof's in the pudding, mate. Huh? Split round of football.
It's not 8 games.
It's 4 games.
5.
A minute 40? I don't know. 5 games, a minute 20. Inside 50.
You do the math.
My blood runs cold. My memory has just been sold.
Back to the round then, Mitcho.
Let's start again. Yeah. Alright, go.
First round of the match, Mitcho. Big one at the MCG, the Hawks and the Dogs.
Well, it's a big one for a lot of reasons, Andy, and I feel like we've been saying this a lot this year, but it's a big one because it's a season-defining game for both teams. How many times have we seen that?
A lot
We
of
said it too much. I
season-defining
say it about
games.
every game for Essendon, but this is a big one. Essendon have fallen out of touch in the last couple of weeks with 2 losses in a row. Got absolutely flogged by the Cats. The Hawks, well, I said they couldn't make the finals, Andy, but they're starting to look like they can not just make the finals, but maybe get themselves a home final in the
Doc
first
tipped
round
it.
as well. We have to slow them down, Bombers out there. We really have to slow them down. Matthew Knights has made a couple of changes to try and help that happen. Out goes Dempsey, Myers and Dyson for their weak performances
Got the
against the
teams
Cats.
this week, Mitcho.
Yeah, I know. We're
Bit
doing
of
it on a
inside
Thursday.
info.
How good's that, huh? Oh, yeah, beautiful. In comes Atkinson, Hooker and Prismal. Now, Hooker is very important for Essendon because he's been very, very good on Buddy in the past. We know that Pearsy hasn't been so good. So Pearsy will go to the big rough, and we'll see how he goes on him, and we'll have Fletcher floating around. Cyril Rioli and Luke Hodge.
Mm-hmm.
When those two are hot,
Delicious.
they're a very hard team to stop, Andy, and they've been hot at the moment. Cyril has averaged over 150 Supercoach points in the last 2 weeks. So was Hodgie. Who do you tip, mate?
I think the Hawks but it's going to be a classic.
It's going to be a classic. Friday night football, we absolutely love it. A little bit of fireworks would be nice. I'm going to go with the Bomber Boys just because they've won the last 4 in a row. I'm saying about 20 points.
Good call.
Your game, Andy. The Blue Boys versus the Dockers. I just got a little bit of email there if you heard that. Just the old weekly...
Andy D is back on the
Yeah, that's right. That's probably Demetrio just saying, "Oh, I'm pre-anticipating the show and I'm very excited about it, boys.
Sends us one every
See
week.
how much time we're wasting now that we've only got 5 games to do. Andy, Carlton and Fremantle are
Big
Eddie Had.
influence on the top 4 this game. If the Blues win, then they draw even with Freo on points, and it'll only be percentage separating them.
Which
They'll
is
have
huge,
to-
isn't it?
Yeah,
Based on where they were a
massive.
couple of weeks
They
ago.
will have to improve 100% from last week because they were shocking
They were no
against
good.
North Melbourne.
No good.
Freo, they put up a good fight against the Saints, and they really were in it until the last sort of 10 minutes where the Saints ran away with it. Pav, I feel that Walker may get the first crack. He's got the athleticism. Bit of a rumour that Pav's carrying a little bit of an injury.
Well, he's
which I'm
slowed
not
down a lot,
sure
hasn't
about.
he?
He has. And Big Sandy will be a good test for the big Sauce Jacobs
Question
and
for you.
Cruz. Yes.
And you've written here, will Carlton bring in an extra ruckman to take on Sandilands?
Well, they haven't.
They haven't.
No.
Because the teams are in now.
Henderson and Bauer are in, and they're the 2 talls.
Okay.
And they have neglected to bring in Hampson or Warnock, so it looks like just the 2.
Very good, very good.
Blues 166, Dockers 223.
I've been on the Dockers bandwagon a lot this season.
I have.
I like them, even though they lost on the weekend against St Kilda. I
Yep.
thought they showed a lot. I think this is going to be a classic as well. So we've only
Hopefully.
got 5 games, but they're going to be some big ones. I like the Dockers at the odds, but I like the Blues by about 10 points.
Yes, so do I. It's going to be a real test for the Blues and a good taste of a good close game, which the Blues have not had this year yet.
Well, the people that the Blues played last week, and they really showed them up, North Melbourne are taking on Port Adelaide down here.
Yep.
North Melbourne. Well, they're on a roll, mate. They've won 2 in a row for
Lindsay
the first time
Thomas.
this season. Lindsay Thomas.
Ooh.
He was flying, mate. He kicked a goal without his boot on the week before that,
I hadn't seen that.
right? And then he...
It's only been replayed about 74
Oh,
times.
that's it.
Jeez.
And he's got... Sorry, am I just repeating a bit of old news there?
No.
With his boot on, though, mate, he was even better.
Yeah.
So that was good for him.
It's always handy
Um,
to have your boots on.
Port Adelaide, well, they're absolutely
Schmozzle.
right. They're right for the taking. North could win 3, and North are now contenders for the 8 as well. And we have a
Amazing.
pretty exciting sort of run homecoming, Andy. I reckon there's 6 teams vying for 2 spots,
Mhm.
which I'm very, very excited about.
Yep.
Port have been labelled the worst team as the comp at the moment. What's your prediction for this game?
I think North will win fairly comfortably, actually.
Me too. North by about 30 for me.
Yep, good call.
The team that I do think might be the other contenders for the worst team in the comp, though, Andy, is West Coast
Yep.
versus the Western Bulldogs. What do you think about this one,
Well,
mate?
this is on Sunday. It's going to be a big game. The Western Bulldogs really need to get their percentage up and going. It's quite healthy at the moment, but percentage can't...
It's going to come down to it for them,
Yeah,
isn't it?
top 4 this year is going to be all about the percentage.
No doubt about it.
They'd want to boost it.
The Bulldogs, what do you think? Oh, I've written the Bulldogs here. Yep, that's who's playing.
How about West Coast?
How about West Coast? What about them? West Coast starting to look like the Spooners for me, mate. They don't have a lot of places to go with the list they've got at the moment. Are their youngs as good as anyone else's? Well, when you look at lists like Melbourne, do you think they are?
I think they are.
Here we go. We've got a little bit of a debate going on here.
If you look at the likes of Shuey, Ebert, Maston, they've all had a little bit of injury trouble and a lot of form trouble. They're just not developing as much, but I think they'll come on.
So there's room to move for West Coast, and it's only up, right?
Yeah, well, you hope so. They can't get much worse.
Well, Richmond are going to be sniffing after them, and let's talk about Richmond, mate.
Yep.
Richmond are heading up to the Gabba to face Brisbane.
Big game. Fev's 200th. Wants to play 300, he said today.
Really?
Bit ambitious.
I think the 300-game player, Dustin Fletcher, might be our last one with Mr. Brad Green.
Yeah.
Brad Johnson. I'd be the last two.
Yeah, I don't think you'll get to 300 anymore, Fev, unfortunately. No such thing as the Gabbatoir anymore,
No,
Mitch.
it's called the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Why?
I don't know. It just seems like it's a bit of a fun ride up there now, isn't it?
Right, yeah, it's fun for away.
It's not like it used to be.
They have had their injuries, but geez, they haven't helped their cause with their form. Big Brownie out for a month, going to cost them massively.
Add to that.
Now, the problem was, Fev was the lone target up forward, goes up to Brisbane. What happens this week? Lone target up forward. Up forward. Yeah, you can't take a trick. Think Michael Voss, my mate.
I have to pipe in here.
Go.
Somebody beat me in Supercoach this week. We had a few late withdrawals. We had Colin Sylvia come out.
Yep.
Jonathan Brown came out.
Yep.
And Didak came out, all late withdrawals.
Yep.
You know who you are. You only beat me by 5 points. You were very, very lucky. But I've got the dilemma again this week. And, Andy, I want your tip.
Sure.
If you've got one of those guys in your team, or all of those guys in your team, who do you bring in, mate? Who's a good forward? Who's at a steal price right now? Put you on the spot there, didn't I? I'll tell you who it is. Ryan O'Keefe is under 400 grand and he's still averaging over 94 points. Yep. Bring him in, super coaches, if you need someone to fill the gap.
Got him weeks ago.
Yeah, I know.
325.
No, he wasn't 325.
He was
425.
No, he wasn't.
Mate, he didn't get down to 325.
Well,
he's not Chris Yarran.
Well, Big Vossi, he won't be spruiking about his off-season recruits much, I wouldn't have thought, which makes me quite happy because I predicted that at the start.
Okay, very good, very good.
Speaking of Fev, I'd like to see him kick a bag. I know a lot of Carlton people hate him, but it'd be nice to see him do well. Jack Revolt, the new superstar of the competition, he'll have the big ranger who is making his comeback, Daniel Merritt. He'll have him for company this week.
West Coast also take it very easy on forwards, don't they? They refuse to drop men back.
I don't know why.
I don't think we're going to see that again this week.
Can't get with the common.
However, how many goals has been in the last 4 weeks for Jack Revolt? 23 goals in 4 weeks. Yeah. So he's in hot form.
30 and 6. So he's averaging 5 for the last 6 weeks.
Insane.
Which is fantastic.
It's absolutely insane.
A good Richmond, let's be honest, is great for footy. Lions at
No
144. Tigers pretty short at 281. They're fairly tempting, but I think the Lions just by 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think, especially with young teams, and we know there's a lot of young guns in that Richmond team, and they might be good in a couple of years. We all thought it might be a little bit longer than that, but it won't be this week. I think the Lions will really stable things up. They've still got a challenge for a spot in the 8 because they've got fickle supporters up there.
Yep.
Merritt's a huge inclusion, and if they can gain that back 6 with Maguire, and who else is still to come back into that back 6 from the start of the year?
Oh, you've still got, people who won't return like Drummond, and then you can add people like Adcock, Ash McGrath.
If they can get that stability in the back half, we'll see how they go for the rest of the year.
And I saw on that email that's flashed up from Andy Demetrio, his favourite segment is Viewer Artwork of the Week. Yeah. And we're actually going to cross to the live site in South Africa this week for Viewer Artwork of the Week.
So just a sec, we'll flick over. Just hold on to your dials, guys. Just linking up now. Pim! Hello! Andy? He's just run to the bathroom, mate. He said he couldn't have a chat at the moment. Yes, we've heard that you're about to unveil the team before everyone else gets to have a look. Just for the Inside 50 listeners. Fantastic, Pim. We're going to cross the visual to you now, mate.
Hello, Doc. Hello, Mitch. I miss your show so much. It's fantastic. Watch it every week. Okay, I can reveal an Inside 50 exclusive. I have the back 4 of Wilkshire, Beauchamp, Neil, and Chipperfield. In the middle, Kalina, Grella, Holman up forward. In behind them, I've got Kuehl and Emerton. And up front, I have Hodge-Shadley, the big surprise this week, Mitch. I hope you like it.
Wow, Pim! We'll put him on the plane, mate. Fantastic, the big pods. Very good news. We'll see you next week.